Yeah, I really can recommend, if somebody wants to reveal the truth about something, or wants to rectify lies that have been told about her or him, yeah, then I really can recommend John to handle that, and get it over with.
Yeah. It's innate in who I am, Fred. Hello and welcome everyone to day 3 of the Expos, and this is day 3 is the soul, and we've got for that Bianca Hadley. Welcome, Bianca.
Hi John, how are you? Thank you for having me.
And thanks for jumping on. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on. So we had a really fantastic day for day 1 with Beverly. We were talking a lot about the body and how to benefit the physical aspect of that. We talked a lot about cancer and stuff like that as well. We had a great day on that. Day 2 we had to reschedule. So we're going to get back to that. But day 3 is something for me that I feel is like the one that I struggle most with. I can talk a lot about the body. I can talk a lot about the mind. I can talk about how people can be entrapped in a place in their mind because they think that they are inferior to their external surroundings, and they don't. There's one thing that I say to people sometimes is like, you take your place in the world. Stand in your place, stand in your ground. There'll be some people that will. They drive on the road, for example, in a way that they act in the rest of society, where they feel like they don't deserve that place on the road. They'll be too far to the right or something like that, but they're not taking the place.
Yes.
And it's like you have a right to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Take it
completely. Completely.
Take your right to exist. And so people just get into this mindset where they're not worthy of that. They don't deserve to be there. They don't deserve to be noticed. They don't deserve to be seen or heard or anything like that. And so the mind I can talk a lot as well. We're stepping into your authority, but the soul is probably one of my most difficult challenges of this 3-day event. And I had a couple of people that was going to speak. In fact, 3 different people that were going to speak, and you've been the only person that's actually jumped on, thankfully, of the 3. And so I don't know really what I can do on the soul talk. I mean, I feel like when you do what is right and physically and mentally with your mind and your body, that the soul kind of comes naturally in terms of your integrity. You do what you know to be right, no matter how many people believe that you're wrong. You do it because you know it to be right. I think that's like a fundamental aspect of what it is in the soul, but I'm sure there's going to be a hell of a lot more that we can talk about on this. So, Bianca, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit then to the people that are going to be watching this? Who are you? Where have you come from? And what is it that you do? And just tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Bianca. I'm from Holland originally, but I live on this beautiful island of Mallorca now. And I think, my life was pretty normal like everybody else, all chasing the same goals, all about money, all about, what has he got and what has she got, and I want that as well. And, big bank accounts and, trying to, especially because I've been for a long time a single mom, so it was always trying to get, chasing in this little hamster wheel, not looking right or left, and just being part of the system and working. And I think, a lot of us, about 5 years ago, what we call the awakening happened, where a lot of people done a lot of soul searching. It's like kind of a lot of us woke up, where we gone, hang on, what is our purpose in life? What is our dharma? What is it that we kind of want to achieve. You know, I want to be 90, and when I pass my last breath, I want to go, okay, I've made a difference. I've done something. I've set my statement. And then maybe it's that with one person, or maybe with thousands of people. I don't know. But at least if I've helped one person, I've already achieved something in my life. And very importantly, I think it is to realize the mistakes you are making and not to repeat them again, to actually see them and then make them better, so you evolve as a human being. So about 5 years ago, it really hit me. You know, it's like hitting a brick wall, going, whoa, hang on, what am I doing? This is not, you know, there must be more to life than just bills and feeding your own ego, because kind of that is the important thing, isn't it, in those days? And then I was kind of lost. I was completely lost. And then my mother actually said, well, maybe it's time now to step into the shoes that you've been given and that you should have picked up years ago, but you were not ready. And I have to give you a little bit of background on this. So my grandmother used to be an energy healer. So is my mum, and she's a psychic as well. And I've, as a child, already could feel and pick up different strands of energies of plants, of animals, of other people, very perceptive to it. And I've grown up with this, you know, but in those days it was like, oh, that, you know, especially in my grandmother's days, it was like, she's a witch, you know, so it was kind of kept really quiet and, you know, nobody was allowed to know. In my mom's age, so she got kind of more, you know, people still thought she was weird, but people came, you know, and she used to help like police investigations with murders and everything else. So she's kind of more psychic. And I had the ability to put my hands on people and feeling their energies and being around people and feeling their energies. And I could adapt that, but I've never done anything with that because, of course, it was not like really a career thing to do. And I couldn't make all the money that I wanted with it. And I've always grown up with, it's a gift, so you should give it for free. Kind of that was always the way of thinking.
Yeah.
So when my mom then said, okay, this is time for you to really do what you should be doing, and let's become a healer, I went, oh my God, you know, what am I going to do? This is like, people are going to think I'm mad. People are going to think I'm weird. You know, people, like, if they think about that, they think about hippies and feathers in the hairs and birds everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like this unspoken subject where people think you're kind of weird.
You know, so I'm sorry to interrupt you, Bianca, but I have to say this. You know, the biggest, one of the things that I try to teach people is to not be afraid of anything. I made a conscious decision never to be afraid of anything, step out of all and any fear. But, you know, one of the biggest fears, though, that David Icke says this a lot as well. One of the biggest fears that people are in is the fear of what other people think. Once you get trapped, once you get trapped in there, it's very, very difficult to break free from that because you're too concerned about. And you know, and the funny thing is, nobody actually gives a shit about you. No. You know, you've got all these ideas of what people think, and nobody cares. You know, you're the only person that cares so much is yourself. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, John. This is the hardest bit of letting go. To let go of your own ego and to go against everything that you thought you always believed in, that is the hardest step. And that is your awareness. This is the awakening. This is when it starts. So I did it very drastically. I gave up my job, as you know. I got rid of all my furniture, all my clothes. I kind of went minimum. And I just had my backpack and I went to India. And kind of what I did was to go and heal myself first, because you can't be healing people if you're not healed yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a tough journey, because suddenly you get this great big mirror put in front of your face, and you have to deal with a lot of stuff before you can get through it. Anyway, I met this amazing Reiki master there, Indian Reiki master. Master Raji, and I lived with him and his family literally in the middle of nowhere on the top of a mountain in India, and he beat me into shape. Like literally, he was get up 5:30 in the morning, meditation, yoga, healing, meditation, yoga, healing, and I spent a lot of time with him, and I've learned a lot from him. And this is where I done my Reiki. because of the healing, there's, you know, you have to kind of see it as religion. You know, you've got people that see, you know, worship God, you've got people worshiping Allah, you've got people, you know, talking about the greater consciousness, you've got people talking about the universe, you know, everybody believes in something. And this is kind of the same with the healing. So you've got a lot of different ways of energy healing, but it all comes down to the same thing, really. We all, you know, we all know that we are dealing with energies around us, but different places, depending on where in the world you are, is that they have different names and different methods. But really, basically, it's all the same. Yes, that's what I think is really important for you to understand. Now, I know you don't know anything about energy healing, and I assume the people that are watching now probably don't, you know, most of you don't either. So let me just kind of start talking in the term that you are already understanding, which is your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Okay, so we all know, if you see your mind as an iceberg, the top of the iceberg is your conscious mind. We all know about our conscious mind, but underneath the water, you've got the biggest part of the iceberg, which is your subconscious mind. Okay, and a lot happens there, and we don't realize that. And often we think that we've all been through traumas in the past and upsets and hurts, and you know, this is life, and we think we dealt with them. But they're still in your subconscious mind, that they're still there. And because your mind works in pictures, sometimes if your subconscious mind gets triggered into memories, it comes back up. And what it does, your brain goes exactly through the same way of what happened at those days, and it sends the same signals back to your body. Now, why is this, from energy-wise, bad? It is because if you look at your hand, you see a solid hand, it's all fine. But you put that on you magnify this for thousands and thousands of times, you see in the end of the day an atom. And the atom is just energy bouncing against the cell wall. So your body is kind of made of energy.
Yeah.
You with me?
Oh, yeah.
So we are an energetic being, not only inside, but all the way outside as well. So when people are talking about an aura, the spiritual kind of side is the aura, is really your biomagnetic field. Okay. And this biomagnetic field can go out 3 meters, 4 meters, depending on your personality, how strong your energies are yourself. So, for example, that gets damaged in normal life. So, mobile phones, computers, satellite beaming down on us the whole day, but especially other people, toxic people. You know, sometimes you're talking to people and they're draining you. When you come out of them, you go, oh my God, like you feel drained. That's their energy. You can walk past somebody on the street and you can go, oh, you get shivers. The reason being, you're walking straight through their biomagnetic field or their aura. And if that's not right, you pick that up and it's the kind of stays. So when you get an aura that is not correct, you start feeling out of balance, because it's not clear. Now, some people can see different levels, like the different colors of the aura. I can feel the different densities of the aura. Okay, so it's got a kind of density to it. Another thing that's really important for you to know is that we all can heal, and we do it every day. For example, Reiki is one of the most ancient ways of healing in the world. Okay, so it comes from Japan. And if you think about it, if you've got a headache, the first thing you do is you put your own hands on your head. If you've got a stomach ache or belly ache, you put your hands on your stomach. If you bang your knee, the first thing you do is rub your knee. If somebody is upset, you rub their back, which is the heart chakra. Holding hands, it's like, it's kind of like that all energy points with our very end. So we kind of do it every day. It's in our daily life. Well, we haven't learned about this. We haven't learned about this at all.
So is Reiki then is something to do with the hands? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
So what is
healing.
Reiki then? Why don't you kind of describe to us a little bit then, exactly what Reiki is? Because I don't know at all.
Let me, but kind of this is what I tried to say before about religion. I think you can talk about Reiki, you can talk about the Lemurian code healings, you can talk about all different kinds, acupuncture, acupressure, because we kind of all deal with the same thing, in all fairness. This is what I said before, it's kind of all the same thing. We are talking about energy healing, okay? I'm going to talk about energy healing. So because we've kind of we already are born with this, but it is part of our subconscious mind. We are not activated. It's like having a frequency, and we're not tuned into this frequency. So what Reiki does, if you go and train for being a Reiki master, you get attuned to this, okay, to this frequency. So going back to the energy healing. So what we're doing now is like literally we are healing ourselves all day long. But we don't recognize that. When we feel ill, we run to the doctor, we get a medication, and we're off. Yeah, then we get side effects of the medication. That's true. But really, when you start understanding what you can do with your own mind, body, and soul, yeah, to literally heal yourself, yeah, that's when a whole new world opens for you. This is what people don't understand. But this is when people get meditation, yoga. This is all to do with getting your energy right again. This is all part of it. So basically, how does energy healing work? If you rub your hands really fast together, do it. Yeah, really fast. And just keep it a little bit apart. Keep it a little bit closer. You feel like a yeah. That's enough. Okay. Yeah, you feel like a pool, like a magnetic pool. Okay. So what happens is that if people have gone through a lot of trauma in their life, every emotion has got a frequency to it, like a vibration to it. E, emotion, energy. E for energy, motion, energy, emotion. That's emotion. Okay, so every emotion has got a vibration, like a frequency that goes through your body. Yeah, and because you're made of energy, if it is too much anger, too much sadness, too much whatever, it's too much for the body to handle. So what happens is that it blocks. Things start blocking in your body. Yeah, so we've got your major energy points, which are your 7 chakras, but you've got another 54 points on one side and another 54 points on another side. So it's like a circuit board. So when things are starting to close, everything is starting to close. This is when people start getting ill. This is where cancers are starting. This is where diabetes is starting. This is where people start getting shoulder ache, back aches, knee aches. Everything is kind of attached to an emotion. Okay? Yeah. This is seen as from the spiritual side. You go on the scientific side, it all comes together. For example, here you've got your throat chakra. People that have got problems with expressing themselves, yeah, they often get problem here with their throat. So that means that if they get problems here and this starts locking, they get problems with the thyroid. Okay, and this is the same. So same as your heart chakra. Yeah, a lot of people, when this is closing down, this is a lot of women will start getting breast cancer, they start getting problems with the lungs. Yeah, the same when you've got here, your solar plexus. Yeah, you've got your pancreas here. If this is your nervous center, if this is closed.
By the way, I don't know if your intention is to show on the camera, but
you can't see it. Oh, you can't see it.
There.
Okay, sorry. But yeah, so all the different energy points are all connected with major glands in the body. So this is where kind of the spiritual side comes together with the scientific side. Okay. Yep. And if you work that together, I've got people, I always say, when the doctor says there is no cure, yeah, that he means with medication.
Yeah, of course.
I'm telling you that 90% of problems that people have got in their body is got to do with their emotions and past traumas.
Yeah.
And when you start clearing this, so when I just showed you that magnetic like field, if I'm working on people, you can feel all the biomagnetic field above them or you can feel where it's stuck inside. And then literally it works like a magnet. So whatever is stuck on the heat here, it jumps open. This is when, if you've ever seen videos, and you see people move, yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens, because we're unblocking and it comes loose, yeah, and people are moving. So you can see the people like fingers moving, shoulders moving. I've had people literally sitting 3 meters away from me, and I just put out my hand and they're already going on the table. They're like that. Okay, so to come back on your body, mind, and soul, it's all connected in my eyes.
Yeah,
but it has to be clear.
And in terms of connecting different parts, I mean, I would imagine, obviously, I don't imagine, I'm pretty sure that, and it's even scientific community would tell you this, is that emotions, they can have a negative impact on health. Okay, of course. So, but if we talk about a little bit more about energy, and then we could maybe combine some of the other aspects from day one. In terms of energy, you know, we wouldn't be doing a good job if we neglected where energy source was coming from, and how, because it's not just, I mean, where does our emotions come from? For example, we are feeding ourselves the ability to be energetic. For example, the biggest majority is coming from the sun, which is then coming down onto the plants, for example. And then we are consuming the energy of the plants. Ideally, it should be living food, because if it's dead, then you're missing that life force. But then also we want to avoid things. So I don't want to talk too much about it, because I did it on day one, right? But you mentioned that you addressed that 90% of people that have issues is coming from an emotional part. But that's why I just want to chuck that out there as well, is that if you're having like genetically modified organisms and foods and herbicides, insecticides, pesticides.
100%. It's all part. It's all part of it, John. I'm not saying that it is not important to exercise, eat healthy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can eat healthy, you can exercise as much as you want, you can do all these things, not smoke, not drink.
Yeah.
But if you are not you haven't cleared anything that's passed in your life, and you haven't cleared that out of your body, and your energetic are not right, it affects your body. And I don't care how much, whatever you eat, whatever you do, if your emotions are not fine, because again, we're talking about the outside shell.
Yeah.
We're talking about what's going on inside. And we are not talking only about the energy is being given by the sun. Yeah. What do you think is coming out of the earth? Have you thought about that? That's why it's really important to ground yourself. It's very important to walk barefoot on the grass, in the sand, because the vibrations coming out of the earth are very intense. The energy that comes out of there is very intense. Yeah. And often when we are feeling off, you can check the Schumann frequencies, and they're normally going nuts. And that comes from the inside of the world, of the earth. So between the earth and the moon and the sun and everything else going on, we've got a lot of things going on energetic wise. So it is important to eat healthy. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's very important to keep those energies right. Why do people feel better when they go and have a walk in nature? Why is that? That's not only because it's green, because of the fresh air. It is because the color green. Green is a vibration. Again, colors have got vibrations to it, frequencies to it, and they heal your heart. Green is your heart color. If your people are depressed and down, the first thing, you should be wearing a lot of yellows and oranges, because it's got frequency. Why does music cheer you up? Music got a frequency to it, which is all got to do with your own energies. So this is like very, very important. It's not only about the physical shell and what you feed it. It is about what you are doing with your energies. This is why people feel better when they do sports, because what they do, they release their energy. And they're getting rid of stock energy, stagnant energy. That's what's happening.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about the Schumann, right? But the Schumann risen, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, but there was actually this guy I met here in Ireland, and it looked like he was digging himself a grave, you know. But he wanted to bury himself in the earth, you know, and he wanted to have people come and come to his place, and he had this organic finca. It was a finca. It was something. It was like you grow food there, or whatever. He was like allotments, you know. But he would have people come in and go in this thing and just chuck all the soil and dirt and just lay there, you know, in the earth, literally. But another thing, in fact, he used to show me his shoes as well. He used to have a wire that would come through his shoes, so that whenever he was walking anywhere he would go, he would pick up the energy from the earth. But he told me as well that probably the best thing to do in terms of earth, and it's actually it's so simple as well. It's just take a swim in the sea, and if you're in a place where you can do that, then obviously water is very energy conductive as well, and it's attached to the earth, and so become sort of one in it. And anybody you ask, I suppose, you know, how do you feel when you're having a swim in the sea?
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
So refreshed. But even the wind, for example, is really good. When it is storming, you go and stand outside, and it clears your biomagnetic field. It clears it, so it's good. When it is storming and there's lightning and whatever, be careful where you stand, of course, but it is the most active way of cleaning your aura and your biomagnetic field, which is really, really important.
Yeah, I can't help but go out in a storm. I love it. You know.
Me too.
Yeah,
I get so excited.
If it's really, really heavy, windy, like heavy rain and everything, I thought, oh, you know what? It's a rare moment right there. I'm going to go out and take that and just be within it. You know, I don't want to protect myself from it. Close the windows. Oof, I'm out there. You know.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm just drawn to it. I don't know why. I guess I'm just really drawn to it. Yeah, great. So what was the what was the final straw for you then? I mean, what made you make that shift from where you are, from where you've been into where you are now, and what's the difference? How do you feel now, doing what you're doing now compared to what you were doing before?
Oh God, very relaxed to start with. There's no more stress. There's no more stress in my life. I've found to be not having stress or being completely stressed with a lot of money, you know, it is kind of, it's like a no-brainer for me. You know, I'm trying to live in the now, where before I used to be living, what if, and I need to be prepared for what if, you know. And if I do that now, I just go, okay, stop. This is just your imagination running away with itself, because what if, there's nothing I can do about tomorrow. Absolutely nothing. I have to live for the moment. I have to live for the now, because now I'm alive. Tomorrow I can walk out on the street and I can get hit by a bus and that's it. You know, and then all that worrying that I've done all those days of what maybe is going to happen in the future, I've kind of wasted my time, because what for? And you know, I think Luke will talk about this more. It's all about manifesting. It's all about manifesting, being positive. But again, this is energy. You know, when we manifest, we are using energy.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm saying this is the soul part. Yeah, the mind, body, and soul. It's all to do with energy. Yeah. Everything around you is energy.
You know, there was have you ever heard of a guy called Neville Goddard?
Don't think so.
No. So
Not that I'm very good with names, though, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, so I think I mean, he died back in the 70s or something, right? But I think he's like the icon, if you like, the original icon of manifesting. And his name just kind of keeps popping up to me recently. There was a guy who he's got a course on the internet, and it was this guy who I'd convinced him not to take the second vaccine, and he was so grateful for me that he sent me money, but he still wants to send me more money, but the money doesn't add up for the value that I've gave him, and effectively potentially saved his life. And so he wants to be able to provide something that is more equal in value. And so he had this like 2.5 hour conversation with me one day about manifesting. Like, John, you know this guy who's just died there, the Sean, he was in our community, and he was just a couple of weeks ago, just before he died, he said he wanted this car and this make and this model, And I said to him, why did you go buy it then? You've got the money anyway. You're not short. And he said, no, I'm gonna get it for free. I said, what do you mean you're gonna get it for free? So I'm gonna manifest it. And so about a week later, he gets back on a call with him again. He says, have a look at this. I was to my video on, and he showed him the car. And I was like, okay, hold on, what the hell happened to you? It was a 60 grand car. And he says, I manifested it. So I just wanted to show you that now, so that I can share this information, this knowledge with you, so you'll take it away and you can learn the power of manifestation as well. Unfortunately, he died a week or two later, and but this guy who I prevented getting the second vaccine, he's passed the information over to me, right? And now even Luke, right? I've gave the information over to Luke. I've gave it over to my mother and to my missus. Luke is one of the few people that have actually gone through it right now, and he telling me about his results. The guy who told me about it is telling me about his results. And then my missus just last night shared a video with me. She wanted me to sit and watch this 20-minute video about manifesting, and it was a woman talking about lo and behold, manifesting from who she learned Neville Goddard. And so this guy's popping up again. He's popping up everywhere,
That's a sign, though. That's a sign.
Yeah. And there was this recording that I listened to as well, and the sort of the high ticket closing community from some of them. Some of them we all learn from each other, right? But this one particular guy is really, really good, and he showed an example of high ticket closing, and I was listening to it for about an hour. And it was showing how you have to get rid of your bad habits and how you have to do all this thing, right? It was a big wake up, another reminder or wake up call for me before I got home, and then I watched that 20-minute video with Mrs. And so I thought, it's time for me to make that change. I'm going to make a change, and I started doing the manifest as well. I'm not going to say what it is I'm looking to manifest. Well, like I say, I want to see the results. But I felt
it's very important, though, John, that if you try to manifest, it's kind of not asking. You're not asking. You are seeing it.
Yeah.
You are seeing it. You're already there. You already got it.
I'm accepting it. Yeah.
You already got it. You already got it. You put it out there and you leave it. Okay, it's not like like Santa Claus, I'm sending you my wish list. I want all these things, please. No, you kind of already have to believe you already got it. It's happening. This is the power of it. Yeah. Power is like really, 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 really impressive.
But for a long time, I've known, because I'm always striving for better in my own life, and so I recognise my faults. I don't ignore them. I know, like, if I'm having a smoke, or if I'm having a beer, or if I'm having a coffee, or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm very, very consciously aware of what I'm doing. I'm not like biggest majority of people they just ignore it and accept that as the reality. There's so many people out there that smoke and they don't even think for a second they don't consider it for a moment that they want to stop sometime. It's just accepted, and for that they just smoke the rest of their life, and for me, I've got to recognize these things, because I've got to see that I can improve in one aspect or another, and so I think the point I'm trying to make then basically is I've been looking to make this transition now, to not only just acknowledge it, but actually make a move on it. I've had enough. We've not got all the time in the world here. And I wasn't even. I was delaying this meeting with you today, and because I didn't even think I was going to make it. I feel like I'm already purging myself of something that I haven't been feeling too great today. Since beginning the manifestation last night and making my decision in my mind last night. I woke up this morning and it's like, whoa! I have no energy. It's just like something sucked out of me or something. But yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge what it is we're doing and to improve, not to just get accepted and to be stuck in the same place and just, this is who I am and this is what I do and this is going to be my life. I remember I was in Scotland one time and I seen a £20 note and I was so struggling for cash at the time. I thought to myself, if I was to grab that £20 note out of that person's hand and run it at the shop, it would help me so much. I could do a lot with that £20. Never have done anything like that before. Never I would, and I knew I never would at the time. But it was just a thought, what it would be like if I did that, I could do this, I could do that, I could do that with £20. And then, and it was a moment for me where, again, it was like, am I going to accept this? Is this my life? You know, there's a lot of people around me in the middle of Glasgow, big city, poverty everywhere, drugs, alcohol, bad attitudes everywhere. While at the same time, I actually know as 100% fact there's people out there living in hot countries on boats and sitting by the beach and chilling out and doing the thing and living a happy life. What is it I'm going to do? Am I just going to sit back and this is my life? I'm just one of these guys that just fits into this place around me. They can't even afford like a loaf of bread. You know, at one point I couldn't. The only thing I had to eat one day was rice and tomato sauce. You know, like
Yeah.
that was it. And I thought, you know, no, no fucking way, man. You know, and I made a big difference. Oh, Cristiano was coming into the room here as well. And I made a decision. So the whole point is that it was time for me to make a change, and so I always get to a point where I don't accept the life that I've got. I acknowledge what I have, and I acknowledge what needs to change so that I can improve myself. You know, and that's pretty much where I'm at, and that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, but that's the way. That's the way. I think a lot of people, if they keep getting stuck in their own little pattern of life, you know, first of all, you're not going to make the mistakes to grow, because that's what we're here for. We're not here just to be machines to earn, to earn money, and, and our children to do the same, and our grandchildren to do the same. And we're not here for that. We've got a bigger purpose in life, 100%. And that's what you need to find out. You need to find out, look at you now, John, look what you are doing now, which is amazing, and look what Luke is doing. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
We woke up, and some people a bit, I wish I woke up 20 years earlier, because it would have been absolutely amazing.
But we come from a sort of similar working background. I was working with you in many aspects, because we were selling tickets for events, stuff like that. And yourself, the stressful environment, piss people all over the place. I just want to show the people that were watching this. This is my office now that I've set up here. I actually invested in this nature office, so I've got like a chair here, table, my flask. I've got a hammock set up. I've got a tarp coming and a cabin tent to keep me out of the wind. I'm just out in the fields. And it's like you said, when you're in nature, how do you feel? It's all about energy and the colours and everything, But for me, there's no distraction here, and I just feel so much more at peace in that way of life.
I think this is a very important aspect as well. Is that we humans, we are so, we think we are the greatest thing of all times, which. Because we can speak and we've got a bigger brain than what we think, than animals and whatever. But we are all one. Energy-wise, we are all one. Yeah. Because let's face it, if the world tomorrow has got no more insects, this world will not exist soon anymore. If there are no more animals, it kind of will not more exist. If human beings don't exist tomorrow, the world will carry on and will be a great place. So we are very, when you start realizing that you are just as important as that tree as you are sitting under, and that mosquito you're trying to squash away, we're all part of one. We're all made of that same energy. And this is what's really, really important. This is what people don't see, because we're too busy of thinking we are better than everything else in the world, which we are not. We're making a mess out of it. Yeah. And to get back to the whole COVID thing, I think this is a major example of how emotions can control energies. Because people had the televisions on 24/7 with the death toll underneath, and people are going to die, and people and this and people that, and lock yourself up indoors, which is the worst, because you're not connecting with the energy that you need to connect. But the fear element, making people scared, is one of those emotions I'm on about. One of the worst frequencies you can having to go through your body, which blocks the most. So
That
what
was the most
happens?
important agenda of all.
So when people are scared, if you make people scared all the time, there's going to be a world war, there's going to be this pandemic, this is going to happen. This energy-wise, it's the worst thing you can do, because what it will create is blockages in your body, and you will start getting ill because you're telling your body to get ill because you're scared.
Yeah.
This is how powerful
Absolutely.
energy is.
Yeah, and fear is the currency of control. And so whenever anyone's trying to put you in fear, you know they're trying to control you in one way, shape, or form or another.
100%.
That's the fact. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, physically, it can really damage you. Fear is one of the worst vibrations you can get having going through your body. Too much of it.
And I think if you're coming from a place of love, or true unconditional love, fear cannot exist in that place, because love doesn't do love doesn't, for example, not if you need to do something, you need to make a decision. It doesn't think about the consequences of that decision. It does what it knows to be right. And to be able to do what you know to be right, you have to be in a place without fear. And so I think that are the two sort of big differences. You could say love and hate, but I think the two polar opposites would be better described as love and fear, I would say. So either if the more fear you're in, the more drift you're apart.
It's hate, isn't it? Love and hate.
Yeah.
That's the polar opposites, I think.
Yeah, that is a polar opposites, but I think it would be a better analogy to use is to put them to love and fear. Because the more fear that you're in, the drifting the further you drift away from love. Yeah, but of course the official polarity of love and hate. All energy, and you're an energy healer, as you say, Bianca. So, how do people find you? You know, how do people get to be able to work with you? Is it something that you do online? Is it something that people can come and meet you in person, or is it a week long?
This is like an energy thing as well. To be perfectly honest, I never advertise. I never do anything. You know, people find me. I always put out. You know, people, when they need me, the right people will find me, and they always do. You know, it's always falls always in place, which is amazing. Because the healings, it's not a commercial thing. I can't do 10 healings a day. You know, I can only do 2 or 3, because of course I'm dealing with other people's energies, and you need to clear. You can't. It's not something you can do all the time. So most of the time, people get hold of me over Messenger, which is Bianca Hadley. Or WhatsApp, or people are telling other people. Basically, I've got no website. No.
And would you be able to provide people an email address or something as well that people could email you?
Of course. Yeah, Bianca Hadley.
Go ahead.
It's Bianca Hadley at hotmail.com.
Okay, and I'll just stick the link there on the screen as well.
Okay, great.
So people can help you. People can get in touch with you. That would be great.
Yeah.
So Bianca, I want to introduce and meet have you meeting Cristiano here.
Hi, Cristiano.
How you doing, Cristiano? So Cristiano, he would be probably he was one of the 3 guest speakers that I wanted to I would have liked to speak in this day as well for the day. So I think Cristiano is a gem for this, especially with the meeting that we had about the psychiatric ward as well. He put his own spin on that. Cristiano is a pioneer of the OPPT. If you've never heard of that, you don't know what it is. It's called One People's Public Trust, which basically takes back the owner or denounces the ownership of your own name, rather, because you don't own it in the first place. And then you create a new name, and it's all done by through legal means, through common law. You can have your own passport, your own license plates, your own license, and with it insurance and the whole thing. Literally,
that's amazing.
You're literally creating a new identity that coexists with the current system that we live in and is legally recognised. It's absolutely fantastic. So, Cristiano, just so you're aware of what we're talking about here, as you've seen this, there's the introduction videos is about body, mind, and soul. We're talking about how to free the body, mind, and soul. And today, particularly, we've been talking about the soul, and Bianca's an energy healer here, so she's been talking about how to heal people energetically. through the chakras, through many different means. I don't know what else. Do you want to give a very, very brief thing about what you do, Bianca, just so that
I can't do it brief, as
Cristiano.
you've experienced before. When I start to keep babbling.
Yeah, but yeah, we're going to go back to the start. But basically, she's an energy healer. So what do you think? What do you think you'd be able to bring, Cristiano? What would you say about how to free a person's soul in this crazy world today of fear and enslavement in many different ways, shapes, and forms?
But first of all, thanks for the inviting, and sorry for the light, but outside is rainy here in the south. You are in Scotland now?
No, I'm still in Mallorca, and so is Bianca.
Ah, okay.
We're in the sun.
Here is rainy. Anyway, my audio is good?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good enough. Yeah, it's good enough.
Nothing. What about me? I'm a contemplative philosopher, so my concepts about existence is the basics. I start from the roots of the things. So my also professional life is manage, care, and help the people to find their balance for the archetypal principles of the existence. So when we speak about the fear, and we have to looking for the roots of the fear, we discover that the problem is the ignorance. When the people don't know the things, don't know the reality of what they are managing, because what we eat, what we speak, what we do with our actions, it's always a consequence of a manipulated structure, theoretical, social, scientific, religious, familiar. So nothing is original, not anymore, because we're not born in the wood with the natural evolution of Mother Earth. Yeah, this is the radical way, go in the wood and back to the origin, because our ancestors was not the monkeys, because obviously we don't are a consequence of the monkeys of the bees, but apes. But we are another kind of hominid, and we've been manipulated, domesticated, and now we became this Homo domesticus, completely disconnected from its roots. Or we have two master of life, called the so-called grandparents, wise, free, in a right environment, not distorted, because our social, our shared society, shared world, our current humanity is completely distorted, is completely materialist, dualist, and obviously in this end of cycle is decadent, but it's cyclic, it's natural, it's nothing of never happened, it's already happened, and of cyclically everywhere it's happening, because in the big, in the high, like in the down, in the little, the patterns are always cyclic. So we are now in a human society completely decadent. It's a phase. After this natural selection, who will survive will be the carrier of the good knowledge, genetic, and spirit, because also the quality of the spirit is totally important for the future, because we are not made just from material stuff. We are also, and especially spirit. But in this plane, the 3D place of the planet Earth, we are 50% material and 50% spirit. We have to keep the balance. We have to know the roots of the things. We don't have to be disconnected from our reason of existence, because we have a reason for have the life in this period with this vehicle, with this body. And in this life dynamic, because I'm coming from the Italic Peninsula, but I've been in Africa, in a lot of places of Europe, in the United States, and now I'm arrived here by 7 years. I doing my stuff by 9 years. Yeah, by 9 years I have a philosophical school, because as I told you, I'm a contemplative philosopher. And also for me, the experience when I'm arrived, when I'm landed, when my spirit is being emanated in this plan, I got 2 parents, goodwill, no bad. They are happy. They was young. I was the first son, so they was really energetic for my start. But when I was 10 years old, I start to recognize where I was and what I am. And so the normal life start to be too restrictive from what I was. In fact, from the 10 years age on, I started to train to work on me, inside me, to become stronger and stronger. When I was 17, I left the common life. I left the school, I left the family. I started to work, to go everywhere, also outside of the country. Then I was forced to do the military service, but I was willing, I enjoyed, and so I spent 2 years with this kind of experience. Then I start to work in the life, but from the 17 years of age, I was free to manage my life in the way I was wanting. And so I started to make my experience in a lot of fields: work, traveling, myself, endurance, physical, relationals, love stories, risky situation, dangerous, in a lot of different places of this my little world, because I never been in Orient, but Europe, Africa, and United States, it's a little bit half part of the world. I know I have a friend everywhere. I learned, absorbed a lot of stuff from all these places, and now I'm arrived to be complete, because as I told you, my parents lovely, good, but not in degree to bring me to the steps, high steps was planned from me. And I started to remind when I was 10. I left them when I was 17. When I was then in a second step, because from the 10 years to the 28, so almost 10, 11 years, more or less I enjoyed the normal life. Did the career, I got the success in the money, in the work, in the love. I was young, single, rich, no bad, very viable. But I left everything because I got the dark night of the soul, the crisis of middle age, when I was at 28, 29. And so 2009, 2010 were bad years for me, because I recognized that around me everything was decadent, was bad, everybody was poor. I was suffering spiritually, and nobody was in degree to help me. No my parents, no my friends, no my girlfriend. Everything was foolish, worse than me. And so I was confused, suffering, and a bit angry, because why nobody told me? Why nobody trained me? I started a training inside of me when I was 10 years of age. I connected me to this wisdom inside of me, because in the years of the normal life, I was a bit confused. And I think a lot of people, the common people still today, in the problems of the fears of the disbalance, are in this phase. They are lost in the relativism, in the materialism, in the dualism of this artificial world, because the nature is always around us to remind us the freedom. God is over there. If you stay in the in the farms, in the intensive farms, it's your choice, because everybody of us is free, but everybody of us is not yet safe if don't achieve the level, the degree, the range of consciousness to realize what is this place, because the 2 points.
Cristiano, can I just interrupt? What? Because I think I see myself a little bit in you as well, right? And also in Bianca. Like, I grew up and I always knew there was something wrong with the system. I was always waiting on the day where I could be free as a child, you know. Always wanting to go camping, always waiting on the day where I could set myself free and I just envisioned myself walking across the land, across the world. That's how I saw freedom, you know. Wait to get out of school and I'm just going to go out there, you know. But which time you're indoctrinated to such a point where you don't actually have the skills or the knowledge to be able to do that. And then like the hammer comes on you and you realise, hold on a minute, if you don't pay rent, you don't have a roof over your head as well. That was a big wake-up call for me. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, then I can go in the government and they'll just give me some money. Oh, but you have to go and sign every 2 weeks. Right, so actually, I never leave the system then, actually. I'm always stuck in it. I don't have that freedom. But this thing that keeps coming back to you is something that keeps telling you, it keeps waking you up, and it's something that reminds you that you need to do more to be free. And you seem to have that. I've definitely got it. I've had it from a very young age. Bianca has had it as well. This is a question I'm asking to the both of you. Where do you think that comes from, and why doesn't it affect the biggest majority of people? Why don't they see that? Why don't they get that feeling, that necessity to be free? That, you know what I mean? Where does it come from?
Because
no, you go first. You go first. Go first.
Anyway, no, because it's wired to what I told before. The people is confused and they need the roots. The parents can't give them the keys, the principles of the things, because also our parents, I can see mine, but everywhere, especially in this place where everybody, if you look around you, or you are already in a community of your higher level of evolution, so spiritual level nearly your, or otherwise, if you're looking outside the door, the windows, you can see just a slave, Nipu, and the sons of other slaves. So the ignorance, the cult, the doctrine of the religious, the cult of humanity, how is the human centrism, how is put egocentrism? No, the human centrism. The mankind is the best, is the only one. Everybody have to be down, have to be oppressed, and that's wrong. In fact, the common human being is think to be part of something of beautiful, but no to be just one drop in the sea, and so have no power. In fact, the bigger lie to the citizen, to the normal people, is that they are the boss of the governments people, the politicians, the police people. They are working for you, but you are nothing. You are
Fun.
damaged from the presence of this category, this entity. In fact, you have to find a little place in your life to do the 0 point, because you have to realize what you are, what you want to do in your life, and detach you from all the contracts, spiritual and material and legal. Detach what you don't want, because the things, the level of distraction around us is super high. We can't see someone interesting, like an example to follow if we check outside of the door, or in the commercial places, or maybe in the web, because it's very rare to find out someone original, genuine, without a second or third fine in directions. In my little school, I help the people to reach their dreams or solve their problems, treating, managing of the roots of the things with the natural tools, remedies, and spiritual and natural medicine, the philosophy, the archetypal roots of the things of the life, because are not so much, are 20, 23, 25. It's not so much when you know the reason, the roots of the things of the life. So when the individuals start to recognize how to eat, how to sleep, where to live, and surrounded by who, these people back to have an energy circulation, healthy, good, happy, propositive, and the fear disappear, the illness disappear, the artistic side will erupt like a volcano, and all the problems of the common people watching TV. I don't watch television by 15 years, nor the radio from 7 years. I eat from 3 years just apples, but I'm coming from 15 years of veganism and fruitarianism. But it was step by step. It's impossible to change to drastic because you can resist. We have to detox slowly, but we need to know the important joys of the things, because we need to know that what we need, we want, exist. When I speak with someone that doesn't know there is an alternative to the common life, like maybe citizen, worker, routine, illness or hospital, is normal getting sick, is normal getting old and start to die maybe around 60, 80 years. This is wrong, is not exist. If you want to be natural, you can live over the 120 years. I know, I meet people over 140, two times, obviously outside of the Europe. East Europe. One is East Europe. One other one was a gypsy, and another one was a Sufi monk.
Just to clear up there, you said 140 there. You're not 240.
Not 240.
140 years.
Yeah, but you meant 140. I just wanted to clarify that there. Yeah.
No, it's possible, because if you keep your shells in the good water, because the interstitial water is the place where the shells are existing and replicate themselves, but they die, they get sick, they eat, and they poo. So we have to change this water, but this water is organic. We have to eat a lot of juicy fruit. The fruit, the best, the only one, the specific one fruit for the human being is the apple. Is clear from the mythology, from the anthropology, and also from, if you check the human body, how it works. We can survive eating just apples. And all these people I met, these three people especially, they just was eating red apples. So they can survive a lot of years. There is also proof of people crossed the 300 years of age. Maybe very few people, but exist in the last century, are dead in the 1998, 1999. I remind two people almost around 300 years of age are dead, and they was certificated, because one was from France and one was from China. But these things are hard to know, to have the evidence, to be sure. Obviously, the science deny, but we don't have to let them believe. I know, I can expire with my experience. I can exprime my life and my spirituality in this way. It works. The spirituality is powerful. The physical body, I'm 44 years old, and I play football, I do sport with people of 20 years, 25 years, and I like them or better, because they are very dispersive. because they are young, but physically, mentally, spiritually, if you have a good alimentation, good environment, and good reason of life, I discovered what I was and why I'm here on earth. When you do what is the reason for what you are in this life, and you can just have a harmony in the life, no conflict, never have to fight with someone. If you are suffering, if you are sick, if you have to clash with something, is because you are missing some point. You have to do tied up inside. Then when your spirit will be balanced, also your mind will be balanced, also your body will be balanced, and then you will expand also in the environment, your room, your home, your work, and your world. I'm arrived to the point by 1 year, 2 years, that next step I have to move in another place just for me. In fact, now I'm in a little town, but start to be too close to me also this material world. I need to go in the eco village. I'm going to creating with my fellows, because these three last years of crisis of world pushed up the people like my frequency. So we discovered the existence each other's. Everybody of us was thinking, I'm the only one, I'm so different, why I'm not like the others? There is a good reason, because we are not like the others. In fact, now we are connected, because
you're united.
And now we want to create, everybody of us is therapists, healers, artists, genius, alchemists. We have the resources, the knowledge, the will, some value, also money to do, and we want to do. We want to stay together. The osmosis of our energy together will create an explosion of vitality for us, first of all, and also will be an option for the others like us in the future. Obviously, also for the sons of the tomorrow, because today there is no hope for the common people. They are constantly scared, they are limited, but all these things are made by themselves to themselves. Yes. Nobody point I am a gun against you. You have to do, you have to follow, you have to accept. If you think they are right, because the ignorance, because the fears, and because the absence of time to learn what is the reason of the things, the reason of the life, what means be a citizen, what means be a follower of religions, what means be part of a big entity like the state, the community, the patriotism, the politicians. Fuck off. We have to be ourselves. We have to remind what we are. We are coming from the nature. We have to back in the nature, but not like the white people of the hippie people. We have to be ourselves, noble, with the comfort, with the technology our nature can support, harmonized with the environment, natural. So tiny house, eco village, and other ways to move. We want to create our vehicles to move. We have all the plan for create our world for us. I know people from all the world, because in my little, I created 3 years ago a network of Telegram groups speaking about natural law, very important thing to know, improving info and material to read for learning the knowledge of the international rights, international law, so common law, natural law, international law, to be free also in the common world of today, because
let me just hold you there for a second, Cristiano. I want you to continue down this path here, right, where you're going, because I think that this is pretty important, to talk about how to free the spirit, and that's kind of why you're here today as well, right? Bianca did have one quick thing you want to say. I don't know if you still want to say anything now, but I know you've got to jump off soon. Is there anything that you'd like to input after everything you've heard so far? or you would like to, say something you were going to say before? Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, I kind of really agree with Cristiano. I think people have been created now to be asleep and to be told what they've been told to do.
Yep.
But the good thing is that came out of all this is that we've kind of got all together now. We found the people, we are not alone. We are not mad. We're not on our own. We found through this and what happened the last few years, we woke up and we found each other. And what Cristiano said, the way forward with this is to set up our own communities, be self-sustainable, have our own communities, have likewise people, and everybody else that stays asleep, because this is not just because they're asleep, this is because they're lazy. They don't want to wake up. They want to stay in this comfortable bubble that has been created for them. They don't want to get themselves out of this comfort zone. So the way forward is fine. You go ahead, we move on. That's what we do.
Yeah. And I always say, like, for people that people say never give up, I always say that I think the people who give up are braver than the ones that don't give up, because giving up is always a much harder decision to take than to not give up. Keep on going and going and going, or to give up and just let the world engulf you.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty brave decision, a pretty stupid decision as well. But anyway, Bianca.
Well, I think it's important because we've got children. We've got children. We need to fight for them.
Yeah.
And their future.
And the funny thing is as well is that we've been working together, me and you, before, Bianca, and we never saw each other on that level before. It took the COVID lie to wake a lot of people up and send them in different directions. And even before then, you were already going to India, you were going to learn from gurus or whoever it was you're learning from. I was joining the High Ticket Closer program where I learned a lot of things that I'd never thought I was going to learn in a sales course, completely different community and a lot of sort of spiritual nature and stuff like that. And so it was happening anyway. The energy was coming to that point anyway. So it's been great that we've come together. But Bianca, I just want to say,
thank you.
You can jump off whenever you want. Just want to say thanks for coming.
Okay, because I do need to go. But thank you so much for having me, Cristiano. Lovely meeting you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck.
Good
luck. Bianca. See you.
Bye bye.
So, Cristiano, we can continue on a little bit. Yeah. I just want you to give you. Yeah, do you know what? We're going to have to be quick here, right? Because the only reason being is my battery seems to be burning away very fast. I don't know why. I've got 17% on my phone. Actually, let me just switch over to. It's a bit complicated because the recording's taking place on the computer. Sorry, bear with me a second here. Yeah, I tell you what. Let's. I think we can continue a little bit more today, but I think something like me and you, we could have another conversation another day about more specific about what you're doing with the OPPT and stuff like that. But let's continue for now where you left off. You were saying that people are coming to a point now where they don't know, that they don't realise that they can be free of those systems. They don't realise they're a part of the religion, the politics, what it is to be a citizen who controls you, rather than whether it came from in nature. There is a way back, isn't there? There's a way to get back to living a freer life. And that's something you've come to learn, and it's something that now you're teaching, and you've created these Telegram groups. You've created this network of people, and it's an international group. I've seen it myself. You've got Telegram groups all over the world, and it's teaching people about this OPPT. So let's touch on that a little bit. Let's talk about how we can be more free through those types of concepts, natural law, etc.
Because you told two things before and now about the freedom, why we are looking for the freedom, and now why we are in this so hard period of life. But why? Because the problem is the communication. We have to be able to communicate between the three parts of ourselves: mind, soul, and spirit. Mind, soul, and spirit have to speak clearly between them and find a balance where the spirit lead, the mind execute, and the soul is the connection, the internet with everything. The soul is not a part of us. The soul is the Wi-Fi. The soul, when it's getting into our spirit, create the animo. Animo is the fire, the strong vitality we have. Much more you have a high flame, vital flame, much more you have the freedom, like first element to start everything. You can't accept to live in a situation, everything, work, emotional, sentimental, existential, environmental, without the freedom, like the base. Much more you have this flame high, because much more is the signal strong from the outside, from God, from the universe, the soul. Much more the soul signal is power, much more your animo / vital flame is high, and you know what you want. Also, if you don't know what you want, but you know, everybody of us, when we been teenage, when we was younger, 20, 24, we was looking for the freedom, liberty. Then we started to be in the, we accepted too many, how is when we compromises. And one compromises because girlfriend, and I need the car, so I need the money, so I need the job, and my family asks to me, and the system asks to me the taxes, and everybody wait from me something. And we stopped to live, we stopped to be free, and we stopped to fight for the freedom. And we became a clone of everybody. This is the end of everything, the beginning of the end. If you, like me, have this reaction allergic to this life, because also, like in my case, also if I was rich, young, without debits, without sons, children, I was empty inside. This emptiness inside is the cancer, is the reason for what the people have no reason to exist. If you have no reason to exist, you will become a sheep, and the people, the system, the few people of this world with a little bit of knowledge of you, you are a sheep, so your knowledge is almost zero. They are a bit better of you, but the powerful, dangerous, rich people of the world, the so-called bad people, are just characters used by the puppet master, that it's someone much more high. What the people can see, Rothschild, Rockefeller, no, this is the Masons, this is just functions executors, so they are not important. You have to put in the bin all this life, take off yourself from the carillon of the crazy life, improve your knowledge, your vital flame, back to be free. I was with the erection allergic to this life, and I left everything without know what was the tomorrow. But I was just sure that I was not willing anymore the life I had until that day. And when you are 13 years old, rich in career, and everybody envy you, and you want to leave everything, the people, my parents first, told me, you are crazy, you don't know what you're doing. If you lose this stuff, then maybe you can reach again in back in case you want. No, I'm sure I prefer to die following my inner guide than play to the life with the rules of the fake world.
And being an actor. Yeah, you don't want to be an actor. You don't want to play a part. You want to be who you were born to be.
I don't want to be. I want to be the protagonist of my life, and I don't want to be just one of the most appearance in a movie. No. The movie have to be just based on me. I start to live like an anarchist, like an extremist, with my food, with my studies, with my esoterical stuff, because our inner us, the nature, the alchemy, the natural spirituality, the natural love, sex is a bad word. The physical love between two individuals is amazing and have nothing to deal with the pornography, with the sex, or with the compromise, because the compromise, everything is starting with a comfort life, but then the compromise became a blackmail, and so for like now the system blackmail the people, and the people is without time, without knowledge, and without freedom, and they have no time to do nothing. They just have